Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone has been enjoying themselves so far, getting a little fellowship in, getting a chance to get to know each other if you haven't met. So if you do not know where you are, or if you're unfamiliar with this program, this is the Rites of Passage ceremony. And this year we wanted to really emphasize letting your adventure begin, because after this point, for you graduating seniors, juniors, or however you were able to get that magical degree, this is your chance to start something new. You've restarted over and over again, from kindergarten to elementary to middle school to high school to college. Now you're hitting the real world, so we want to celebrate that. So this is an event that's celebrating our international exchange students, dimensional award scholars, and international students who are graduating seniors or six-year pharmacy students. Um, with this, we have an excellent guest who not only has his own credentials, but is well related to a student, a part of this day. So, Jean Marie, I'm going to keep saying that all the time, Kamatali is an OU professor and the Ella L. Ernst H. Fisher Chair of Law at Claudel W. Pitt College of Law at ONU. He also serves as director of Center for Democratic Governance and Rule of Law. Professor Kamatali was born in Rwanda and has lived in different countries in Africa. He studied at University of Graz in Austria, the University of Notre Dame here in the United States, and University of Rwanda. Professor Kamatali started working at ONU in the fall of 2008. His extensive teaching career has spanned across multiple institutions, including the University of Notre Dame Law, Indiana University, Kent State University, Louvain University in Belgium, and the National University of Rwanda, where he served as Dean of Law School. Please join me in welcoming Professor Kamatali. Come on, man.
All right. Okay, my name is Jean-Marie Kamatali. Some of you don't know me, but you probably know Nick because I'm usually introduced as Nick's dad. So, thank you. So when I was invited to speak, I was told that you have 5 minutes to talk to this august group here today. And I thought it was a mistake because usually you don't give lawyers 5 minutes to talk, because that's not what we're known for. You're giving 5 minutes, you take 20, giving 20, you take 70, but I'll try to stick to the 5 minutes talk, and I know it's because, of course, they knew that they have to limit my time here so that I can kind of like limit my talk. So what I'm doing here today is really to kind of like share with you, well, at least tell you a story and share with you some reflections, and then maybe give you an advice, which I think will be something I think will be really helpful. So what is the story? The story is actually in 2008, I moved here to EDA, and some of you, my story is probably related to some international students or some minority students. And usually when you say you're going to EDA, people would say, are you going to EDA? EDA, minorities, there is no diversity, there is no international, there is the rural. And then you say, you drive here, you look at people, you look at a place and say, the first impression exactly kind of like that's what you get. But guess what? I have been here now for 15 years. And I want to let you know that there is really nothing wrong like the people who told me that before I came here. And I'm going to tell you for two reasons, and two reasons really I think either they were wrong. Why are they wrong if I kind of look at now the reflection part? Because when I sit here and reflect on how long I've been here for these 15 years, the first reason why they were wrong is how most people in general, as even humans, we always tend to see or be informed by our first impression. We go to places, what we see at the first sight is what sticks in our mind. And I think that is completely wrong because we have to look really deep inside people. And I'm giving you that example, the first reason, which I think is the reason why really even staying in EDA, staying at ONU, beside other reasons, just one first reason is that reason that you come here and the first thing is the rule, no diversity, not international and everything. But the more you stay, the more you realize that that is wrong. And the point here is really to show you that first impression can be misleading. Can be misleading because we always tend to kind of like judge a place by the first thing we see, by the first impression we get. And I'm giving you that example because when you look, for instance, at the Martin Luther King statue see over there, right? How many schools do you know that have that statue like that? And if you look at people who actually advocated for the creation of that statue, are not people you expect to create that statue, because this is something which you look beyond the visual, the view where you see somebody in the face. You have to look beyond that. Because if you look at that, you say, oh, it was created by people who look like Martin Luther King. I'm telling you, the committee that created that putting together that fundraise and that, it's very limited number of people who actually may be looking like Martin Luther King. But the diversity aspect, which is kind of give you an idea that if you kind of get fooled by the first impression, you will be wrong. So that is something I want to make sure that when you talk about international, when you talk about diversity, try to look beyond what you think people told you at a place or about individuals. Look at that, because diversity is inside out. You look at the inside people who fight for the cause, not necessarily people who look like you, because the idea of diversity, the idea of community, the strength you're looking for will not be built by standing only with people who look like you, but you stand with people who think like you. More than that, that's, I think, is very important to consider that. That's the first impression, which I think really kind of made me like and understand ONU and stay, and since I've been finding really strength through that. The second element, trying to stick to 5 minutes, is that once you think about diversity, when you think about international, most people will tell you, oh, you're not going to make it because you're not going to be living the people who look like you or who got that first impression. And the criticism I give to kind of like usually mention is that diversity is not about receiving. It's also about giving. So when you go to a place, you're looking for people who look like you, people who, the first impression I just mentioned, it's because you want to be served. You're looking for, you are a consumer, right? But you have to look at that diversity from the perspective of giving, not only receiving. What are you doing to contribute to that international environment in EDA? What are you doing to contribute to that diverse environment in EDA? That's what matters. That's what matters, because if you go around and looking for people who look like you or who are just like that first impression, what you're looking for is to be served, to receive. And you don't see yourself as somebody who contributes to giving. So if you're looking at an opportunity to give, this will be an opportunity to come to EDA and also contribute. And I'm using that example because, when you look at the polar bear, a polar bear will not have anything to do with it. I will actually be in a place where it looks like it. So coming to choosing on you really shows that you have to come to a place where you can really contribute, but not only look at changing, contributing, and giving than receiving, because if you're looking for receiving, you go to places that look like you, and that is not helping in terms of contributing, but only receiving. So that what I'm trying to give you is my reflection is that the two things. The first thing is really look at international, look at diversity not from the first impression, but look deeper and look at idea, look at the community in a much broader context, but also contribute, not only consume, but also be part of that community. So just to conclude with an advice. My advice is exactly as you guys move out of here, you go and live in your communities, you go to your countries. I really want to make sure that you reflect that diverse kind of strength through diversity, which audio stands for. Whether you are, whatever nationality you have, whatever sexual orientation you are, whatever ethnicity, that strength has to be looked at from the perspective of contributing, not only consuming, but also you have to look deeper rather than being fooled by only first impression. So as you move out, as you go live in your community, go build that community, be the representative of the polar bear, but also the values of Oinu, which is strength through diversity. So that's the 5 minutes, right? Did I get my 5 minutes right? Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Kamatali. Wise words indeed, and I know I'll be reflecting on that through the week. My name is Katerina, and I work in the Office of International Services, and it's my pleasure now to recognize our international exchange students who are heading back to their home countries in just over a week, and it's really tough for me to say goodbye to these students because it's my first year in the role, and I'm not jaded yet, I'm not exhausted yet, and so I'm still very attached to these students. They're like my first set of children, it feels like. But as I do call their names, Jeff Smith, the Director of Global Initiatives, he will do the honor of handing out a certificate, and that is thanks to the Office of Academic Affairs, and then also a gift from our office, the Office of International Services. So when I announce your name, please come forward, and after receiving your gift, just stay up front because we're going to do a photo afterwards. That's you, Holton. So first, we have James Hatchell. He came to us from Northern Ireland, and he took classes primarily in the College of Engineering. James was part of the Society of Automotive Engineers Baja student group. And so I know from many photos that he definitely enjoyed driving the car and getting to see the design process. He also lists among his highlights his engineering classes, especially automotive engineering and aircraft design. He got to do projects in the workshop using the milling machine and I think it's pronounced lathe. I had to look that up, so I was like, that's my vocabulary word of the week. Further highlights include trips with international and domestic students. We got to go to Niagara Falls and Hocking Hills. And lastly, he got to experience a whole new culture and make a lot of friends, especially through badminton and tennis. So this is James. So Koda wasn't able to be with us today, but he came to us from Japan and took classes primarily all in the College of Business. And during this past academic year, he enjoyed volleyball, esports, and of all things, pizza in the dining hall. I know, but he enjoyed the pizza there. He joined students on trips to Niagara Falls as well and Hocking Hills. And he even, on his own, took initiative to venture out to Miami, Florida with his friends. Great. So we'll give him a round too. So that is Coda. Now the lovely Florence comes to us from the Netherlands, and she took classes in the College of Business. When we asked her to list her ONU highlights, she sent the following. The 2024 Polar Plunge. So we need to give her a hand for doing that. Movie nights with her friends. She also joined us in Niagara Falls. She experienced the solar eclipse and Greek week. Yep, so you're ahead of me there, Florence. I haven't done that yet. Going out to parties with friends and an unexpected volleyball tournament and little moments like tanning on the tundra. What? So that's Florence. Paul Yu was also unable to join us tonight. He came to us from South Korea and joined us starting in August, and he also took classes in the College of Business. So Paul really liked cooking, so his apartment became quite the hub, I understand, where they would eat his great food, watch anime, play video games, and they also played in the esports room. He attended 2 conferences while in the United States, both unrelated to Ohio Northern. So he had quite the adventures. One took him to Chicago and the second to Indianapolis. So let's give a final round of applause for our departing exchange students. So now my colleague Jeff Smith will be coming up to have a few words.
Yeah, I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Jeff Smith, and I'm Director of Global Initiatives here. So we love sending students abroad for study abroad. We love welcoming our international students coming this direction, and so that's a lot of what's happening with the Office of Global Initiatives. And then together with the Multicultural Development Office, we want to acknowledge those persons here that came to also celebrate with you all, with you as students. And so when I call your name, if you would please stand and remain standing. So Dr. Linda Nice, our Associate Provost, she's always an advocate for our both offices, Global Initiatives and Multicultural Development. Dr. Adrian Thompson-Bradshaw is the Vice President, as you know, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. Dr. Solar Hong, Chief Belonging, Inclusion, and Diversity Officer. And we also, I'm looking out over the room, we welcome Dean Bretz, who's from Arts and Sciences, for joining us today. And let me see. I think that's where we are. So we wanted to give a special thanks because these are some of the offices and people that are always supporting you all. And so here as we say, let your adventure begin, we watch you go with pride. And so thank you for helping us celebrate that.
So, it's that time to celebrate our graduating DA scholars. So, being Dimensional Award scholars, you are bringing diversity to our campus. And with that, a lot of you have either took roles of executive positions as part of our 13 organizations, which have put a lot of different culture events on our campus. Without you guys, it would be difficult to bring your individual nationalities, your individual countries, and just give us little tastes out here in Ada. So thank you for that. And we'll go ahead and get started. So, special guest, Dr. Adrienne Thompson Bradshaw. She will be handing you guys your certificates, and you also get a t-shirt celebrating the fact that you're starting in your new world, your new adventure. Too close. Okay. So, Noah Aragana. I don't think Noah's here. No. Oh, okay, there he goes. Both. We will be staying up here and doing an EA scholarship photo at the end, yes. David Flores. Tilla Oragora, who should be here, but he's coming from Florida, so he gets an excuse. Rewind Luana. Jonathan Lawson. Brianna Mendez. Aaliyah Mitchell. Oh, I'm not here. That's so sad. Jameer Nunley. Mackenzie Converse. Nope. Taylor Pritchett. Dakari Ward. So this next one is special. For those of you who don't know, Yitzhak Watson is my little brother and is now graduating with a degree in accounting. So I feel like it's only right that I give him a special prize for making it through being a second generation, but first generation polar bear at the same time. And an Omega Psi Phi Incorporated charter member, Yitzhak Watson. DA scholars don't get mad at me. Y'all are all getting y'all stoles too. Don't worry. I promise. Trey Wilson. I don't think he made it. And then last, Jeremy Wen.
1, 2, 3.
Go Bears!
Awesome.
All right, I have the pleasure of introducing you to some people who are also graduating, some of our international students. I don't think any of them are actually physically here, but we wanted to at least say who they were. Sarah Al-Faraj from Saudi Arabia is graduating with 3 degrees. Ling Su Chu is graduating with a degree in pharmacy. She came to ONU from Canada, and her next step is to work as a PGY1 resident in Baltimore, Maryland. Another pharmacist graduating is Triet Lee. He came to ONU from Vietnam. Next step also is a PGY1 resident in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yu Matsuzawa, graduating with a degree in computer science, came to ONU from Japan. Yale Shin from South Korea, graduating with a degree in pharmacy. She came to us obviously from South Korea, and their next step is to work for a community pharmacy in Dayton. Kotaro Tsuji is the last one from Japan. He is a bachelor's of environmental and field biology, and he plans at this point to probably return to Japan, possibly coming back for additional study. So thank you for just recognizing all of them with me.
So just as our ONU faculty and staff, it's maybe a no-brainer, the role that they play in the success of our international students and in their growth as citizens, global citizens, and leaders. Our ONU students, however, they also play an important role in befriending, serving, and mentoring our international students. In fact, those relationships are so key in our students' adjustment to life in the US and here at ONU in Ada, Ohio, that our office, the Office of International Services, we are instituting 3 separate appreciation awards that recognize the tremendous value that our domestic and current international students have in the lives of our international students. And so the first award, Appreciation Award, is for a student who served as an international student greeter during International Student Orientation. So to receive this award, this student will have demonstrated warm hospitality, advanced multicultural communication skills, genuine care for the well-being of incoming students, sincere empathy for students transitioning to a new culture, and a consistent willingness to go above and beyond the job description. So our first ever recipient of the International Student Greeter Award is Nicholas Kamatali.
Give me a duck from you, boy.
Yeah, maybe Nick could be here. The second appreciation award is for a student who served as a Polar Pal mentor for 1 or 2 semesters this academic year. Polar Pal mentors are domestic or international students who are paired with incoming international students to befriend them and help them along as they transition to life in the US and here at ONU. To receive this award, a student will have demonstrated a deep curiosity for other cultures, coupled with having cross-cultural sensitivity, made their Polar Pal mentee a priority in their schedule, found creative ways to connect with their mentee and make that person feel welcome, and made considerable effort to understand their mentee's home culture and encourage their mentee to venture out and enjoy new experiences. In this first year, we are recognizing not one, but actually 2 Polar Pal mentors who exhibited these qualities in this past academic year. And the first recipient is Michael Barnes, and he is Polar Pal mentor to Yutaka Yamato. Oh, okay. I started this. Okay, and the second recipient for this academic year is Reese Taylor, Polar Pal mentors to Sumika Matsuyama. Okay, last but not least is the overall International Services Volunteer Award. This is for a volunteer who has consistently gone above and beyond to assist the Office of International Services in caring for our international community at ONU. This year's recipient consistently arrives ahead of events to help set up, honestly, without even being asked. Like, I just don't even have to ask. It's just fantastic. Then after everyone has left, this student stays back to help me clean back up and transport materials back to the office, again, unasked. This student goes out of their way to invite students to outings and gatherings, considers what students would enjoy doing, and passes along ideas to my office. This person lets me know if a student needs something so that we can reach out with resources or an offer to help. This student genuinely cares about our international community and wants what's best for each single person. This student works so hard behind the scenes without expecting recognition, and in fact, I had such a hard time finding a photo of the student because they're not in any of the photos. This one is taking the photos of everyone else. And, which means so much to me personally, regularly expresses appreciation to me as a domestic student, though, for our leaders and our office and what we're doing, and that has really spurred me on in my role in international services. This year's overall International Services Volunteer Award is Victoria Shula. Yeah, this was our way of getting a photo of her. Yes. So, yeah, let's get a group photo. Thanks, Holden. So I do want to say that while these are the 4 recipients for this year, our Polar Pal mentors and our international student greeters and our volunteers are just tremendous. I can't say enough. I literally could not serve our students without them. And it's been such an unexpected blessing, all the friendships and the fun that we have together. And so please, if you're an international student, please, please take time to thank these Polar Pal mentors, ISGs, and volunteers of our office. So in closing, oh, there she is, the one photo. And I think it was a selfie. She took her own. So we do invite you to stay and linger. I know that there's leftovers. We want you to enjoy the reception and one another. Take photos at the photo backdrop. And all the best with your exams and assignments. We know it's a busy week, a very full time of the semester. We're so grateful that you made an effort to come out. And lastly, go Bears!